Good morning. Welcome to Sid Mickle Publications. Most of the viewers of this channel are indie writers. And as independent writers, we have a great tendency to beat ourselves up. We do that over all sorts of things that we can't control and that we maybe don't fully understand. And it interferes with our writing. Most of these things that we stress about are absolutely fixable, and a lot of them don't matter. We all have to stop beating ourselves up over things that we don't know. Especially as a first-time writer, how could you be expected to know these things? For example, do you wake up or go to sleep maybe worrying about your writing progress? Do you read your material and wonder if it's good enough? Do you worry about your professional editing cost and the cost of a professional cover? Do you fret about the structure of your book, structure of your sentences and paragraphs? Do you worry about the plot line, maybe punctuation, dialogue, building characters? Those are logical, normal things to worry about. But most of the time, we don't just have concern over them. We beat ourselves up because we don't know, and we fear that we're not doing it right, and that somehow we as independent writers are inadequate. We have to stop that right now. As of this point in this video, we have to stop that. Most of us do those things or things like that now or in the past. If you're a first-time writer, I want you to really understand this. It's okay not to know everything. You're not supposed to. It's okay to have concerns about them, but it is never okay to take it to the point where you're really hard on yourself. Like I said before, all that stress and all that anxiety and worry really will interfere with your writing. You're the writer and the publisher as an independent writer and author. You don't have a deadline. You've heard me say in my first book, A Backwards Glance, it took me probably 15 years to write that book. Now, that means thinking about it, wanting to write it, knowing it was something I needed to do. And it took about 18 months to actually write my first book. And I'm doing this video because I remember the anxiety. Much of my feelings were anger more than anxiety, because that's just my personality. I was angry at myself for not knowing how to write dialogue, not knowing how to handle quotation marks and putting too many commas in sentences, and not really forming the plot, and getting to a point where I lost chapters because I was really fumbling around with the manuscript and didn't do a very good job of saving my material. Things that first-time writers do. And I was very angry at myself about it. And a lot of us do that. A lot of us have that upset. And it just prevents us from doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is writing well. Stop beating yourself up as of right now. Stop trying to be perfect in your writing. Maybe you're lucky. Maybe you will write a first-time book and it will really be good from the start. That would be very unusual. Certainly doesn't work that way for me. Stop trying to make it be perfect to begin with. Also, stop jumping from advice source to another advice source and really confusing yourself and building the anxiety. As you look at different pieces of advice, sometimes it makes you less and less confident about what you think you should do. Find yourself a source of advice that in your gut fits, that you trust, and go with it. And go with it until it doesn't feel right in your gut and you don't trust it. Maybe you'll find a source that will really help you. I believe this channel can do that. I believe some of the advice I'm giving really would have helped me as a first-time writer. What I'm suggesting we all do is this. I want us to replace stress and anxiety and that general upset with discipline. I want us to make sure that we just move all those things away and we sit down and we say, I'm going to write the best I can write, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to review it. I'm going to have other people review it, and I'm going to work on it until I absolutely am 100% confident that it's the best writing I can do. That discipline isn't easy. I'm not giving you an easy way out here with this advice. I'm telling you, stop beating on yourself and replace all those emotions with discipline, with just concern for getting it right. And when you don't know something, go try to find the answer. Go do your research. Some of the book writing is nothing more than trial and error with a chapter, with a subject, with a character. You just have to try it, and you have to be willing to come back and say, I can do this better. When you change things, it shows growth and it shows great writing potential, not failure. And sometimes as indie writers, I think we believe that. We believe that with mistakes, we are identifying ourselves as inadequate. No, not at all. It's exactly the opposite. We are willing to look at things and do it better. Write in your style. Write at your pace. I'm a big believer that setting up goals of 2,500 words a day works for some people and is an absolute handicap to other people. I believe some people really are hurt by that. They feel the pressure and they go write junk. They don't write well, they just write because they're supposed to write. Write good material. And look, remember this. You are the publisher. You are going to publish this book as an indie author. You don't have an agent, you don't have a publisher. The only deadline you have comes from you. So you have a deadline that you set. If you're an experienced writer, you've already gone down this road. You know where a lot of the potholes are, and you know what most of the real challenges along that journey are. But it doesn't mean you've eliminated all of them. You're still going to get into that rhythm, and you're going to get into that place where you don't feel good about the plot progression. Maybe you don't like the timeline, or maybe you just feel like your characters aren't really great characters. Remember, we always want to write flawed characters at some point in the book. Let them be tested and show resilience, learning something, forgiveness, and becoming better. I think that is something that most good books have with their characters. That's just advice. Most experienced writers, because they're experienced, do that sooner than an original or a first-time writer. Stop beating on yourself as an inexperienced writer or someone who's publishing their 10th or 50th book. And most of the time, people who are at that level really get that. They get the idea, and they accept what's coming. They accept the hard part of it. What I really want to say in this video, and what I think is extremely important, is this. Celebrate what you're doing. You are an independent writer. You are writing on your own. You're accomplishing something that most people will never even look at the challenge of doing. Do not ever give up that look at yourself in the mirror that says, I am taking on this challenge and I'm going to do it well. Now look, I am not the most positive person in the world. I really sometimes become too pragmatic and too like, okay, that's just really how it is. Positivity, though, in your writing is critical and is key. And what I'm telling you is, from the time I wrote this first book to the time I wrote this 7th book, I learned that anxiety and upset and criticizing myself and screaming at the computer when I read stuff and didn't like it just keeps me from fixing it. That's the thing I want you to take away from. Please celebrate the fact that you've got guts and you've got creativity and you've got the desire to do something yourself. You're trying to write the best book you can write. Hold on to that goal. Hold on to that accomplishment that you're trying to reach. Now, when we get to the point where we finish that, as you've heard me say in other videos, we have to manage our expectations about what happens afterward. But in truth, aren't we just saying as we go through this conversation, we're trying to manage our expectations of this process? Aren't we managing how we handle the challenges we face in writing? All those challenges, all the anticipation of editing, the anticipation of the cover, of publishing, of sales, all those are our expectations, and how we manage every bit of that will give us a sense of peace and will make this entire journey a real pain or something that you can share with your people on social media, with your family, with people who are close to you. But most of all, you can share it with yourself. You can feel very good about it. So to wrap up the subject of today's video, as of right now, we have spent about 10 minutes here, maybe 12 minutes, and we're talking about no longer beating on ourselves as independent writers. I want you to do that as of right now. As you know, in the past couple of weeks, we have been in the downtown Martin Theater doing some videos on inspiration and motivation. And the most recent video, we went out on the road and I took you to some places that were very important to me, that gave me a lot of the foundation or the basic points of understanding life that I use and transfer to my books. We're going to continue that. But I really felt like today was a good time to talk about how we manage ourselves and how we stop being negative toward ourselves and we get really focused on writing instead of worrying. Now, some worry is very normal, very natural, and actually helps us. Replace anxiety and stress, though, with discipline. And just to sum that little paragraph up, we're going to be back on the road next week. I think we have 3 other locations that I'm going to film this weekend, and we'll do an open and close here in the office, or studio as it's been referred to. Not by me. And we'll just summarize what those are all about. And we're still going to be looking at inspiration, motivation, but we're going to throw in discipline and a lot more conversation about discipline and maybe some beginning conversation about characters. And now, because we haven't done it in the last 3 weeks, I believe, we're going to do a question, answer, and comment segment here. And we have more comments, I guess, this week than questions. So let's kick it off. This is a comment from TW. Remember, just first and last initials from whatever source they come in from. Here's the comment. No one wants to watch you talk about some crappy small town you grew up in. I think TW might have missed the point about trying to find inspiration and using things in your life that might help you be inspired. This is a comment also. The next one is a comment, and it comes from IL, not JL, IL. And IL says, your conversation on inspiration and motivation from places and people you knew really touched me. Those videos made me think about my memories and how to write about real people. That's great. I'm really hopeful that was the meaning, that was the message, that was what I wanted to do that for. That was the reason I did that. That was the purpose. So thank you very much, JL, and I hope you can look inside and you can find some valuable inspiration and some valuable material to help you write better. DN, this is a question, and DN writes, how do you convert real people into good characters? Well, that is complex and simple, just depending on how you come at it. When you talk about characters, you're trying to create this fictional person. There's nothing wrong with taking a real person with their great points, maybe some of their flaws, and moving them into your story and altering them. Maybe you change what they are specifically happy and successful with, or you change what they're failing at and what their flaw might be. And then you throw in what I think is always a really good thing is you test them. Some characters fail tests. Some characters just fail, period. That's life. Other characters are really put to the test and they show real growth and they show forgiveness and they show understanding, not only to other people, but they show forgiveness and understanding to themselves. So I'm very lucky. I have a lot of people in my life that I think of as characters in books. I love the fact that I know a wide variety of people from all over the country. And I was very lucky to travel an awful lot in my career and not be locked into just like a one regional area type of personality or a regional style. So I hope that answers your question. The next, I think this is OC, and I believe this is just a comment. Your video at your former home, grandparents' house, and uncle's farm was awesome. Thank you very much. And here's the question. Were those places always in your head for a book, a timeline, or specific characters? And I think what they mean is, were those three places that I highlighted always in my head as needing to be a part of a book? Yes, they were. Even when I didn't really get serious about writing a book, I always kind of thought that I would like to speak about, write about, say something about those people. And I did most of that in a backwards glance. I did a lot of that stuff. It's not an autobiography, but I think it's a modified memoir. And I really was excited to put those people in the real world context here. Then I took those people, went straight away to Who Killed Glenna, the first in the 3-part Sam Bennett series. Let me get the plug in. And I wrote about those real people by altering them, by changing them, by creating, we did not have a murder here in our local town, but creating that fictional story and those fictional characters and bringing real people into it to add to the story and to balance out the entire plot and the story. And did that same kind of mentality in Kill 'Em All, and I'm working on that in Kill Haraway, the third and final book in that series. Now that sounded like a commercial, but it really wasn't. It just worked out that way. RJ or RT, my own writing, I can't read. And this is a comment. If the places you show in your last videos represent your writing skill, your books must stink. Well, okay. Everybody has the right to believe. I would hope you would go read some of my work before you make that comment. You can go to Amazon KDP and read all of my books for free if you're a KDP member. Kindle Direct, I think is what it is. The last of this Q&A session is from, now here's my call. There was a three-word name, a hyphenated name, so I wrote, it's BS-J. Sorry, it's really not that complex, but it obviously complicated my thoughts. And here's the comment. I can clearly see where you find emotion, connections, and your, in parenthesis here, warm Southern flavor and style. And I really appreciate that, BSJ. I really appreciate that statement because if you remember in the last video, I talked about Googling my own writing and having the end of it say that I wrote in a warm Southern style. So I'm really not sure to this point what that is, but I like it. I like the sound of it, and I hope that's the way I'm doing it because I mean to do it that way. So as we get ready to finish up another video for this week, I truly appreciate the comments. I appreciate the questions that come in. And look, if you want to send us a question, if you want to make a comment, drop it here. You can send it to our email at sidnickelpublications@gmail.com. Keep them coming if you will. I love reading them, and I'll certainly be glad to help if I can. And if you like what you're looking at here on this video and others, please hit the subscribe button. We're making progress. We're at 1,260 subscribers, and we're closing in on 4,000 hours of watch time. Shocking, I know, but still, I'm having fun doing it. And if I wasn't having fun doing it, I don't think I would spend this much time on it. But it is fun, and I very much hope it's helpful to people out there who are independent writers. And today's subject about being hard on yourself. Sometimes we are just kind of hard and a little bit down on ourselves. Other people really and truly beat themselves up about their writing effectiveness or progress. Please don't do that. That's not going to help your writing, and it is not good for you. You can learn all of this. You can write well, and nothing, not writing, not anything else, is worth stress and anxiety and putting yourself down. That is a wrong way of thinking in my mind. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. I'm trying to tell you how to manage some of the emotions that go in to a specific subject, and that subject being writing. My personality is impatient, quick to anger, and wanting everything to go right on schedule and to be very near perfect. And that doesn't work in writing, and I found that out really quickly. I found that out in book 1, and it's really good that I found it out there, because if I hadn't found that was a problem and been able to adjust to it, there would be no book 7, and there wouldn't be book 8, 9, and 10 kind of in the process, or at least in my mind. I hope you enjoyed this video today. I hope you take it to heart. And also, I hope you guys will have a great week. Please try to have some fun this week. Enjoy your life. Enjoy what you're doing. And I also think it would be great if you'd come back and join us next week. But until then, take care of yourself, and we will see you later.